We are in one of the hottest places on Earth. This is the Sahara Desert, a place so extreme that a bottle of water left in the shade can evaporate into thin air within just a few hours. Temperatures reach such insane levels that even walking on the sand feels like walking on hot coals. But right in the middle of this hellish landscape, there's a massive river that has been flowing non-stop for thousands of years. But how? How is this even possible? Today, we're going after that mystery. Why doesn't the Nile River ever dry up in this scorching desert? The secret actually lies in the fact that the Nile isn't fed by just one single source. This is a magnificent balance that nature set up thousands of years ago. The Nile is made up of two major tributaries. The first one is the White Nile. The White Nile originates right in the heart of Africa, in the equatorial region. This is one of the rainiest parts of the world. This region receives regular rainfall throughout the year, providing the White Nile with a steady, reliable flow of water. In other words, this branch is the steady vein that keeps the river alive year-round. But this alone isn't enough, because the Sahara's terrifying evaporation power could easily wipe out this calm flow. And this is where the real hero steps in, the Blue Nile. The story of the Blue Nile is an absolute natural wonder. The monsoon rains that fall over the Ethiopian highlands flood this region every single year like clockwork. These rains are so intense that they act like a giant water pump. From June to September, the Blue Nile's water flow increases dramatically. This sudden surge sends a massive wave of water right into the middle of the Sahara Desert. So no matter how much the desert tries to evaporate the water, this powerful wave from behind keeps feeding the river. This dual feeding system is the biggest feature that sets the Nile apart from every other river on Earth. But the story doesn't end there either. Another huge secret to why the Nile doesn't dry up lies in South Sudan. This is the Sudd Wetlands, one of the largest wetland areas in the entire world. This place is so tricky that ships can easily run aground here and get completely stranded. So what does this swamp actually do? This massive green area works like nature's own water treatment and storage facility. When the intense floodwaters from the Blue Nile reach this point, the Sudd Wetlands absorb them, slow them down, and filter them. Then, it slowly releases this water throughout the rest of the year. So the river doesn't dry up during the dry season because this natural sponge releases the water it stored during the summer. There's an incredible balance at work here. This system is so perfect that it has functioned the exact same way for thousands of years. But now, let's get to the harsh reality. This delicate balance that nature maintained for thousands of years was disrupted in the 20th century when humans stepped in. The Aswan High Dam in Egypt might be an engineering marvel, but this dam completely changed the natural cycle of the Nile. In the past, the annual floodwaters from the Blue Nile used to carry fertile silt and sediment all the way to the Nile Delta. This sediment naturally fertilized the farmlands of Egyptian peasants for millennia. But now, all that precious mud and those minerals are piling up behind the dam. Egypt's once fertile lands are gradually becoming depleted. Farmers are now dependent on artificial fertilizers. So we managed to prevent the river from drying up, but we ended up killing the soil. And now, a new threat is looming. Ethiopia is building a massive dam right at the source of the Nile's largest tributary, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. This will be Africa's largest hydroelectric power plant. For Ethiopia, this means development and electricity. But for Egypt, it means the risk of losing its vital water supply. Right now, Egypt's population has exceeded 100 million, and millions more are being added every single year. In this situation, water is no longer just something you drink. It's also becoming a geopolitical weapon. Years of negotiations between the three countries have yet to produce a lasting solution. The future is highly uncertain. One of the most terrifying developments is the invasion of the Nile Delta by the salty waters of the Mediterranean Sea. Scientists call this saltwater intrusion. Just imagine, These fertile lands that once served as Egypt's breadbasket are gradually turning into a white, barren wasteland. Sea levels are rising, freshwater flow is decreasing, and the soil is rapidly becoming salinized. This is a silent death, really. The livelihoods of millions of people are disappearing right before our eyes. The river itself isn't drying up, but its delta is dying. So, in conclusion, the Nile River still doesn't dry up today. Its secret lies in the stability of the White Nile, the seasonal power of the Blue Nile, and the sponge-like structure of the Sudd Wetlands. This triple miracle has sustained civilizations for thousands of years. But now the question is, faced with these human interventions, massive dams, and growing water demand, how much longer can this natural balance hold? The Nile may not have dried up for millennia, but what about the next 50 years? The answer to that question will profoundly affect all of our futures. We've uncovered the Nile's secret, but the real challenge is just beginning. Will we be able to protect it? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.